No one noticed the 3 starving boys standing barefoot in the rain. No one. Except her. She was poor. She was struggling. She barely earned enough to feed herself. Yet that night she gave them the only food she had. She didn't know they were triplets. She didn't know they were homeless. And she definitely didn't know that years later, 3 black G-Wagons would stop traffic in front of her tiny roadside food stand and change her life forever. Chapter 1. The Woman with Nothing. In a forgotten corner of the city, where buses roared past without slowing and people walked with their eyes glued to their phones, stood a tiny roadside food stand. It wasn't much, just a rusted metal cart, 1 old gas stove, and a hand-painted sign that read, "Fresh roti and lentils. Cheap, honest food." The woman who ran it was named Aisha. She was in her early 40s, but life had aged her far beyond her years. Her hands were rough. Her back ached constantly. Her face carried lines carved by hardship and quiet endurance. Every morning, before sunrise, Aisha woke up in her 1-room rented shack. No husband, no children, just silence and responsibility. Her husband had died years ago in a factory accident. The company paid nothing. The case dragged on until she had no money left to fight it. So she cooked. That tiny stand was all she had. Some days she earned just enough to buy flour for the next day. Some days she went to bed hungry. But she never complained. People often asked her, "How do you survive like this?" She always replied the same way, "Allah sends help in ways we don't expect." She didn't know how true those words would become. Chapter 2. The Night It Rained. One evening, dark clouds swallowed the sky. Rain poured down violently, drenching the streets and turning dust into mud. Business was terrible. Aisha stood under her torn plastic sheet, counting her earnings. Barely enough for dinner. She sighed, ready to close early. That's when she noticed them. 3 boys, standing across the road. Soaked, shivering, barefoot. They looked about 10 or 11 years old. Thin arms, sunken faces, torn clothes clinging to their skin. People passed them. Cars splashed water on them. No one stopped. Aisha felt something tighten in her chest. She tried to look away. She really did. But then she saw the smallest one clutch his stomach. And her heart broke. Chapter 3. A choice that cost her. She walked toward them slowly. "Beta, are you hungry?" she asked softly. The boys exchanged nervous glances. The tallest one nodded. "We haven't eaten since yesterday." Aisha swallowed hard. She knew what that meant. If she fed them, she would go hungry tonight. She hesitated, just for a second. Then she turned back to her stand. She cooked 3 plates of hot roti and lentils, extra portions. When she handed them the food, the boys stared like they couldn't believe it was real. "Eat slowly," she said. "It's hot." They devoured it like they hadn't eaten in days. The smallest boy looked up at her with tears in his eyes. "Why are you helping us?" he asked. Aisha smiled gently. "Because once, someone helped me when I had nothing." She didn't ask their names. She didn't ask their story. She didn't expect thanks. When they finished, she wrapped leftover roti in cloth and gave it to them. "For later," she said. That night, Aisha went to bed hungry. But she slept peacefully. Chapter 4. The Triplets Story. Over the next few weeks, the boys returned. Always together. Always polite. Eventually, Aisha learned their story. They were triplets. Aman, Aram, and Adil. Their parents had died in a fire at a textile warehouse. No relatives wanted 3 mouths to feed. They ran away from an abusive shelter. They slept wherever they could. Aisha began feeding them whenever she could. Sometimes only half portions. Sometimes leftovers. But she never turned them away. One day, she gave them something more valuable than food. "Hope," she said. "You boys are smart. You must study." "But we're homeless," Aman said. Aisha took a deep breath. "I'll help as much as I can." Chapter 5. A Mother Without a Name. Aisha arranged for them to attend a free government school. She washed their clothes. She patched their torn shoes. She scolded them when they skipped class. People mocked her. "Why waste your time on street kids?" She replied, "Because they are children before they are poor." When the boys fell sick, she stayed up all night. When they fought, she made them apologize to each other. Slowly, quietly, she became their mother. But life is cruel. One evening, the boys didn't show up. Then another day passed. Then another. Aisha searched everywhere. No one had seen them. Her heart sank. Chapter 6. The Separation. Weeks later, she found out the truth. A child welfare NGO had picked them up during a street sweep. They were taken to different foster programs. No records. No contact. Aisha begged. She cried. She pleaded. But she was poor. Powerless. The boys were gone. That night, Aisha sat alone at her stand, staring at 3 empty plates. She whispered, "I hope you're safe." Years passed. Life moved on. But she never forgot them. Chapter 7. Years later, time changed everything. The city grew taller, richer, faster. Aisha's stand stayed the same. Her hair turned gray. Her hands shook slightly when she cooked. Most people ignored her. Until one afternoon, 3 black G-Wagons turned into the street. Engines humming. Windows tinted. People stopped. Phones came out. Who were these billionaires? The vehicles stopped. Right in front of Aisha's stand. Her heart pounded. 3 men stepped out. Tall. Confident. Expensive suits. They looked at her. And froze. Chapter 8. The Reveal. The tallest man walked forward. His voice trembled. "Ami?" Aisha stared. Her knees gave way. "Aman?" she whispered. The other 2 stepped closer. "Aram. A deal." Tears streamed down her face. They knelt in the dirt. Right there. In front of everyone. "You fed us when no one else did," Aman said. "You gave us a future," Aram added. "Today, we're here to give you yours." Adil finished. Chapter 9. What they became. The triplets had been adopted together by a businessman abroad. They studied. They worked. They built an empire: tech, logistics, real estate. But they never forgot her. They searched for years. And finally found her. They bought her a house, a business, healthcare, security. But most importantly, they gave her what she had always been. Family. Ending message. Aisha still runs her food stand. But now it's bigger, cleaner, famous. She still feeds the hungry. And above her stand, a sign now reads, "Kindness always returns." Final line. She thought she fed 3 hungry boys, but she was really feeding her own future.